Hey, what's up, everybody? It's me, Mary Beth, and today is episode 1 of the Mary Mouth podcast, where as of right now, I'm just going to be going through news headlines and different things that I see that I want to talk about further and just kind of see how it goes. All right, so on today's episode, we're going to talk about Barbie, a child killer, inhalers, and a lot of Super Bowl football stuff, which is not what I thought this was going to be, but here we are. So, first of all, I'm going to start with Barbie, and pretty much they released some rugby girls as Barbies, which is super cool. They, a couple months ago, or maybe it was last year, they did a couple gymnasts as Barbies, which is super cool. They did Jade Carey, and I think Jordan Childs, and maybe Simone, I can't remember. But it's really cool because Ilana Mayer, I'm not sure if I said her name right, she got one. It's just so cute because the Barbie's kind of buff. You need to watch her play rugby. Her highlights are insane. She's very, very strong and powerful, and it was just really fun to watch because that is a sport I know nothing about, but I liked watching her play. In case you don't know who I'm talking about, she was in the Olympics this past year. And the USA team won bronze. I think it had been a while since that had happened. And then she was on the USA team in the year of 2020 in Tokyo, so that's really cool too. And then they also had some rugby players from England, New Zealand, and France. I'm not going to say their names because I'm probably going to say them wrong, but I just wanted to include that it's not just her. They did 4 total. I just wanted to bring that up because I liked when they brought out the gymnastic ones. I think that's so cool, and that they're doing more representation, I guess, for sports when it comes to Barbie, for little girls to be excited to play sports. I think that's a really good thing. If you know me, I played a lot of sports, and it was a really big part of my childhood, so really excited to see that. Wish there had been some Barbies like that for me when I was growing up. What, baby? So the next one is kind of a downer. Back in 2015, there was a man who came from out of state into Versailles, or in Woodford County, Kentucky, where he just broke into a house that was unlocked and murdered a little boy, and then attempted to murder the whole rest of the family. And the reason I'm bringing this up now is because he was just released. Released from prison. A child murderer. There's no question that it was him. It's not like, oh, it could have been him and then he got convicted. He got released. And the reason he got released is because he was convicted, but he was proven like not guilty by reason of insanity, which is crazy because, well, I know, honey, because regardless, why are we allowing people to be free even if they're insane? Now, I do generally think that the insanity situation, excuse us, the insanity plea doesn't really count in this situation, but even if we're gonna do that, how is it that people can be insane, get away with what they did, and then get to walk free? Why isn't there somewhere else for them? If we're gonna let them out of prison, they can't just be on the street, because what makes you think they're sane now? And it's just awful for the family. It's scary for the community because you don't know what this guy's going to do when he gets out. What if he, goes and does this again, etc. He actually went to Florida and got arrested there for not doing something that he was supposed to do. But it's even weirder because either the house that this tragedy happened in, or one on the same street, was a house that I actually had looked at. I didn't go, but it was a really beautiful house. And it's weird that, like, what if I had bought that house and this dude gets out and now I'm worried for my life? Because what if he comes back to the same place? It's just really scary for everybody. And the fact that this happens kind of often, where people get let out. And he was sentenced, I believe, to 20 years and only served like 7. And it's just, like, I just don't understand. Why are we holding people, which, don't call me on this, but, like, why are we holding people for, like, non-violent crimes, like tax evasion or something like that, for their full amount, but not this guy? Like, that's crazy. I don't care if you think he's insane. I don't think he's insane. I just think he's evil. Why are we letting him out, though? That doesn't make sense. People serve more time for far less. It's really scary, especially being from Kentucky, that you don't know if you're out and about with people that have murdered children, literally murdered children because they were insane. That's insane. There's a lot going on with that. A lot of people are really upset about it, and hopefully something will be done, especially in the future. But that's just something I wanted to touch on, because that's just not even right. I don't know how anyone could disagree with what I'm saying. Not that I'm here for you to agree with me, but it's not right. This one I saw, this one's just funny. It's like a science medical thing. I saw like a headline that said that inhalers are contributing to global warming. And it also said something like the thing that causes you to need an inhaler is the inhaler, blah, blah, blah. And I read it because my husband has asthma. He uses an inhaler twice a day. And I used to carry an albuterol inhaler. It didn't really help me. But people have to have inhalers. So I read it. And this particular article was by CNN. I didn't find who the study was through, but it was just saying that basically there's some kind of chemical thing in the inhaler that when it's used, these particles go into the air and contribute to global warming and all that, good stuff. But I just thought it was funny because, one, in the article it said, like, we're going to get away from this and we're on our way to blah, 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 and that you shouldn't stop using your inhaler. So to me, it just seemed like a waste of time. Like, not that it's not important necessarily, but if they've already developed like a way and are on their way I just didn't see the point in even share. Like, why'd we even bother with this? But I thought it was funny because I thought it was going to be the plastic, because every inhaler I've ever seen was made out of plastic. And I don't know if you recycle those, but it was just not what I was expecting it to be. And I really wanted to talk about it because so many people have asthma. Like, it's your fault. They weren't saying that it was your fault, but I just think it's funny that it's your fault. But one of the things they said was that people using inhalers is the equivalent of the use of 500,000 cars, or 470,000 homes worth of electricity. Like, that's how much inhalers contribute to carbon emissions, global warming, whatever. So I don't know. I just thought that was a really funny headline, and I wanted to read it, and then I wanted to tell you about it because I don't know. It was silly to me. Not that separately that things are silly, but when you read the whole article, it basically said don't worry about it. So why did you write it? The next item today, Bubbles and I are wearing our Bengals outfits. I've got on a Joe Burrow sweatshirt, and she's got on her little Bengals t-shirt here. And I'm not like a football genius, or I'm gonna waste your time pretending I know a bunch about what's going on all the time with all the teams. But why Joe Flacco? Not that Joe Flacco is bad or whatever. Why can't the Bengals get it through their heads that the quarterback isn't the problem? First of all, Joe is the problem, I guess. I just don't. It's not anybody's fault that there's no offensive line. And it's just, at this point, like, I love Joe Burrow. I'd rather trade him if he's going to keep telling everyone what to do and tell them who to pay and who to keep If he's that good, his receivers don't need to be that good. We need an offensive line, and he gets hurt all the time. Maybe he wouldn't get hurt so often if he wasn't getting sacked so often. It's just ridiculous. I don't understand, after years of this, why they're still doing the same thing and why the team isn't upset. Like, you made it to the Super Bowl. You were close to, or should have been close to doing so several years now. You know what the problem is. You can't pretend that you don't. If I know what the problem is, I don't know. I know everybody's talking about it. It's not like a genius idea that I've had. But really, at this point, trade Joe. I know that probably is not going to work or whatever, but he's a problem. We need him gone, or we need Joe gone, or T. Higgins gone. We need somebody else gone, because this is just ridiculous. I think it's kind of a slap in the face to Jake Browning. I know he played crappy, but is that all his fault? Probably not. And I just think that's ridiculous. I don't know. It's just hard being a Bengals fan. They went years with nothing. They get Joe. They have 2 years of halfway decent football, and now it's crap again because we pay Joe too much and listen to him too much. He's not the coach. He's not the manager. And he doesn't play half the time. But on the note of football, I wanted to talk about a little bit about the halftime show. And I'm not trying to be political with this, but this is one of those things where, and I have a lot of opinions, I don't know why people care so much. Now, what I mean by that is in case you don't know, at the Super Bowl, they have musician do the halftime show. And the NFL or whoever makes the decisions chose Bad Bunny, which I'm so not on the same wavelength. I thought that was Jelly Roll's girlfriend or whatever. It's not. It's a man. He's from Puerto Rico. And that's all fine. We've had plenty of Super Bowls done, or halftime shows done by people that weren't from America. Music's pretty, it doesn't matter. Pick who's popular, that's going to bring you the views. And for example, last year, Kendrick was chosen for the halftime show. And I don't dislike necessarily him. I've listened to a couple of his songs. I'll listen to them again, kind of thing. But we all know they picked him because of, the stuff with Drake, and it was a good choice, they thought, for views, etc., especially to see if Kendrick was going to say his name during. But the thing with Bad Bunny, so one, I couldn't name a song, which is not how you should shoot, because I don't know anything. But he's said he's only going to sing in Spanish, or does only sing in Spanish, which I don't inherently have a problem with the Spanish part. Sing however you want. I don't know if that's the choice for a sporting event in America that's almost exclusively watched by Americans, where the language is English. It's not who he is or, where he's from, which he's from Puerto Rico, which is part of America. And I know a lot of people have been having a lot of opinions about that, or just ignorance. It's that your audience doesn't speak Spanish. Just the way I would see it, as if the World Cup was in Brazil and the two teams, neither of them spoke English, and they put Katy Perry as their like the equivalent of a halftime show. That doesn't make sense. It just, to me, I don't understand the goal, unless maybe the goal is to get more Spanish-speaking people to watch the Super Bowl. I just don't know if that's really worth anybody's time. I don't know the stats of who's watching the Super Bowl based on language, etc. That's just not, I don't think that's what they're going for. But even if it is, I just don't understand. Also, I wouldn't, if it were Lady Gaga and she decided to sing all of her songs in French, because she has portions of her songs in French, that I wouldn't be happy about that either necessarily, because I don't speak French and we're in America, so I just don't understand. But another thing that I find very interesting about the whole situation of people caring about is the TPUSA's alternative option. And the reason I don't understand why people care is because you don't have to watch it. It's not like they're trying to get the chosen person gone or whatever. I think it's pretty reasonable to have an alternative if people want it. And a lot of people ask them to do this. And you don't have to watch it. It doesn't matter. And the reason I say this is because I'm pretty sure Nickelodeon has a kid's version of the Super Bowl, because the Super Bowl stuff isn't kid friendly, and that's okay to have an alternative for that. And I just don't understand why people care that this is happening. Nobody's making you watch it. People are allowed to not want to watch a halftime show that they literally can't understand. And also, what if they just don't like his music? Let's say he sang it all in English. They might just not like him. And I'm saying that as a person that literally didn't know who he was and have witnessed plenty of Super Bowl halftime shows that I would have rather watched something else. I like classic rock. If it were up to me, every halftime show would be classic rock, but that's not what they do. And because that's not what the audience wants or what they expect the audience to want. Also, I'm sorry, if it had been Taylor Swift, I wouldn't want to watch that either, because I don't like Taylor Swift. So I don't see what the problem is to having an alternative if you don't have to watch it. Why do you care so much? When people say they're getting secondhand embarrassment because they did this, one, they're just doing what their audience wants. But two, I don't understand why that's embarrassing that people want an alternative to something they don't speak the language. I don't understand why that's a problem. Like, when I watched the Olympics, it was in France, and they had French commentators and English commentators for the people that speak English. You know who I want to listen to? The English speaking commentator. I don't speak French, and that's not France's fault, but there was an option for English. Like, I don't understand why people care that this other option is happening. And I can't help but think if this was somehow roles reversed, that they would be saying the same thing, that they would be embarrassed that there was an option that they liked. I don't know. I don't know. And I was talking to my husband about this because one of the other exciting things I want to talk about is Taylor Momsen is coming out with a Christmas album, which, if you know anything about her, we've been waiting a long time for this. I love Taylor Momsen. I've seen her live twice. She is, generally the genre is like grunge. It's a little dark, rock kind of stuff. And honestly, if she were the halftime show, I would not be embarrassed if somebody came out with an alternative because they didn't want their kid watching it, or they don't agree with how dark her stuff is. Like, I don't understand why the alternative is a problem for anybody. Like, I love her and I would watch it, but I could also understand if you don't like that, not wanting to watch it. I just do not understand why people care about the alternative. But I also don't understand, I think it's a bad decision because your audience speaks English, but just don't watch it. That's the answer to both of these problems, is do not watch it. You can watch the Super Bowl and then turn it off during halftime or whatever, and then turn it back on. And you can watch the halftime show and not watch the TPUSA halftime show. I just don't know why people care. I do not understand why it's embarrassing that people don't want to watch something they can't understand. I just don't. I don't understand why you care. Enlighten me, please. Now, you're allowed to disagree, maybe think it's silly, but I don't think it's silly for Americans to want an English halftime show or just anything that isn't an artist they don't like. It's crazy to me. I don't think it has to be political, because if it were an organization that wasn't political, ask yourself, would you care? Would you care? I don't know. I do not understand. I don't. And I have a lot of opinions and dislike a lot of things, but I don't get this. You know what I will probably watching? Neither, because the Bengals are not going to the Super Bowl. I doubt it anyway. And I don't really care if it's not them, so I'll just not watch the whole thing. And I probably won't watch the Cheap USA thing, because if it's Christian music, I don't like that either. If it's not Taylor Momsen or classic rock or the oldies and all those people are dead, I don't care that much. Like, I don't. And personally, I wanted it to be Miley Cyrus because I like her. But what do I know? Again, let's talk about the freaking Christmas album. I'm so excited. Where Are Your Christmas is already out. I recommend you go listen to it. I'm so excited. It comes out on the 31st. And I don't know how to express. Oh, well, okay, here's an important detail. I love Christmas. I have 3 Christmas trees currently standing in my house. It's October, well, I don't know which day, but it's like October 10th or 11th. And I love Christmas music. I will play Christmas music all day, every day. It's never bothered me in retail. I will play it in the summer. I do not care. Christmas music is good. And the reason it's good is because a lot of time it's old. And, well, yes, honey. And I love Pentatonix, and they do a lot of Christmas crap. And I went to their Christmas concert like 2 years ago and had the best time. That's the best time I've ever had, I think, at a concert. I would pay to sit front row at another Pentatonix Christmas concert if I could afford it. I love Christmas music, but I love Taylor Momsen and The Pretty Reckless. They're just so good. I don't know. I'm just so excited. I was freaking out yesterday. They have a CD, a cassette. I bought a cassette. I don't have a cassette player. 2 vinyls. Found out today that there was more vinyls, but I can't afford to have 4 vinyls of the same thing for no reason, so we're going to limit it to 2. But I'm just so excited. I know it's so silly. I get why, like, nobody cares. Nobody else cares. But I'm really excited about it, so I wanted to talk about it. And, well, that's tragic. Look at my cup. It's Cindy Lou. She was Cindy Lou in The Grinch. This girl was a sweet, precious angel and then grew up to be a really cool lady. And like I said, her music's kind of dark, so if that's not you, don't go listen to it. But I don't know. She's so cool. I've been listening to her for 10 years, and I'm just really excited about it. I'm sure you're tired of hearing me talk about it, but I wanted to talk about it. So that's all I have for you today. Like I said, first time, so we're just working on figuring out what we want to talk about. And obviously comment if you disagree. I don't care. If you agree, awesome, whatever. If there's something you want me to talk about next week or anything like that, let me know. But other than that, bye.